the tight end position, which is something that I say before the age of Kyle Pitts. I mean, we've had good tight ends here. I mean, Jake McGee, Aaron, you know who, Trey Burton, Jordan Reed. Yeah, George, you're not able to click it. You can just type it in. I'm sorry. But we had some good tight ends here. But before Kyle Pitts, really, I wouldn't say people thought too much of the tight end position as a big game changer. And here so far, the Napier tenure, I think you have to say really that it hasn't been much of a game changer. I mean, you look at this tight end room, there's no one with significant production on this roster that you look at and be like, oh yeah, that's a guy right there that's guaranteed to be really good. There are some good candidates, though, to have breakout season. I think the first thing we should mention, the guy that I'm going to guarantee starts. Like, he started last year, got good playing time the year before that. Really good run blocker. I'm talking about Hayden Hansen, of course. I just realized he's listed at 6'7.75. He's nearly 6'8", 271, mammoth run blocker. I know he's also been working on his route running. I mean, when there's a chance he just puts more weight on, tries to go to offensive line at the next level, I don't know. We'll see how much work that route running really helps him with. But he is that tight end one going into the year. He's solid. I mean, I'll take a sip of water real quick, but Hayden Hansen's solid. Maybe that route running practice really does help him become a more viable target. I think we saw at the end of the year when Lagway got involved, the tight ends got a little bit more involved. That could also really help Hayden Hansen. I'm fine with Hansen. But the next name, maybe more of a pass catcher, Tony Livingston. I think the battle, because Hayden Hansen is going to be starting as that main run blocking. We do run two tight end sets a lot. So that second tight end is usually more of your pass catcher. And that will be either Tony Livingston or Amir Jackson. We haven't seen much of Amir Jackson, but he was a top 100 recruit coming out of high school. I think it was 99th or maybe 101st, actually. But he was in that top 100 area. Really good athlete, 6'4" and 3/4 quarters, 229 out of Georgia. Out of Porto, Georgia. We actually talked about that last week. Easy to get confused there. But if we're looking for an elite receiving pass catching tight end that we haven't had since Kyle Pitts, it would be Amir Jackson. It's just not something I'm banking on, nor am I predicting it, because we haven't really seen anything that would suggest it would happen. The other name, Tony Livingston, we really saw Tony Livingston come up onto the scenes at the end of the year, especially our bowl game against Tulane. Let me pull the stats for that game up, actually, because Livingston had a pretty good game. I'm pretty sure he had a touchdown. Let me get his stats up right here. Versus Tulane, Lagway went for over 300 yards. Tony Livingston had 4 catches, 58 yards, and a touchdown. So he had a real solid game in that bowl game. If we could see that consistency for him over the course of the 2025 season, he'll be a viable starter. And it's going to be having a guy like Amir Jackson in that room could really help push Livingston or Amir Jackson to become great. I'm not predicting it, but, it's possible. The other name, tight end, I think that's worth mentioning is Caleb Rio, 6'5" and 3/4 quarters, 244 out of Golden, Colorado. He transferred from Air Force 2 years ago. He had to take a season to redshirt because of transfer rules. But I think he could be a really good run-blocking tight end. I just don't know if he has really any threat out of the pass-catching scene. And Hansen is going to be that surefire starter. Maybe Rios could give us some minutes, maybe in like the goal line, if you want to run 2 tight ends with 2 run-blocking tight ends. Because, you look at the game against Kentucky where Jaden Ball had 5 touchdowns. A lot of those touchdowns came from runs inside the 5. So, and he had one of those also against, I think, LSU or Ole Miss. He had another one of those, but maybe you have bring in Rios for those packages. For goal line packages, short yardage plays. I just don't know how much of it you can really count on. A name we saw, I noticed a little bit in the spring game, Scott Isaacs. He's a walk-on from New Orleans. I don't expect us to see much of him, but he's another name in the tight end room, so I thought I'd mention him. The two freshmen, Micah Jones, he was a 3-star coming out of high school. He's from Madison, Mississippi, Madison Central, 6'4", 254. Very identical build to Scott Isaacs, who's 6'4", 252. And that's interesting right there. But I don't expect to see much of Micah Jones. More of a run-blocking tight end, but, he's a freshman. We'll see how much he develops. And the last tight end we brought on this roster, Cameron Kosman, out of Chesterfield. Where is that from, actually? I thought it was Massachusetts, but maybe I'm wrong. Because Missouri. Okay, it's from Missouri. 6'5". Oh, wait, no, that's the wrong one right there. 6'5" and 3/4 quarters. Or, no, that's Caleb Rios. Sorry. Cameron Kosman, 6'4" and 3/4 quarters, 236 out of Chesterfield, Missouri. Felt like a take a lot like Hayden Hansen. Now, Hayden Hansen ended up being a solid tight end. I mean, we'll see how he plays this year. We talked about it already. But I don't know how much we'll really get out of him in his total career. I'm not expecting really to see any of him, just like Micah Jones and some of the previous guys I mentioned this upcoming season. But maybe we'll see some development there. But that's really it with the tight end room. It's not a position to be very high on, but, I mean, maybe you have Livingston or more likely maybe Amir Jackson because of his his high school rating, be able to step up and become pretty good players for us. But that's really it. Natuno, he'll be here next week when we get deeper onto like the offensive lines and the wide receiver room, like the fun stuff, the big positions. But that's really it about the tight ends.